This year, Christmas falls on a Saturday, which means we flow right into our celebration of the Holy Family on Sunday. So it's a big weekend. There's a lot that I could say. And even as you get into the readings for our Christmas celebrations, there's different readings for each of the particular masses, like the Vigil Mass, Mass at midnight, Mass during the day, on Christmas Day itself. So there are so many readings. I think what I'll end up doing is just process this down into themes, right? And on Christmas itself, I mean, it's so much about the Incarnation. God himself has taken on flesh, right? So when we look at the Old Testament readings, we see in that union of human and divine a prophecy foretelling what would happen in a sense. And, seeing that the Lord takes great delight in his spouse, in Israel, right, and in Jerusalem, if you will. So God himself is the bridegroom, and the church to come is the bride, and Jesus is the union of those things. In other masses, we have the prophecy of the birth of a divine king, right? Again, divinity and humanity being united. And as well, we have another proclaiming the good news of the coming of the Messiah, the coming of the King. So that's the Old Testament, right? It's very earthy. It's great images, very human and marriage oriented. Human and divine coming together. But as we look at our gospel readings, we've got the genealogy of Jesus in one mass. We have just the proclamation of his birth from the Gospel of Luke, and then we also have that reading from the beginning of John's Gospel, the prologue of John's Gospel, which really describes in sort of a mystical sense, God coming into the world. Like Jesus didn't exist as Jesus forever, but he existed because he's the second person of the Trinity. He is the Son, and in his birth into the world, again, he's bringing together the human and divine. So, there's a variety of things. There's many things that you could spend your Christmas season meditating on, but kind of too much to talk all about for our celebration of Christmas itself. So much of the point being about, the Incarnation. God became a human person. The human and divine were wedded together for the sake of our redemption. Right? So we go to bed on Christmas Day and wake up on Sunday morning and immediately celebrate the Holy Family. And in that celebration, again, we have Old Testament readings talking about the harmony between, husband, wife, and children. And, a healthy family leads to generations of blessing, really. There's this image, I don't know if I've shared with you before, there's this image that, it's not so much an image, I guess it's sort of a reality, that olive plants are somewhat interdependent on each other, and they almost need multiple olive trees growing next to each other to really thrive. And I think about that a lot because we have the image of the olive tree in our readings for the Holy Family, but the family has to grow together. It has to be nearby one another. The mature tree and the other shoots coming up around it. So in a sense, the parents in the middle and the kids growing up around the base of that tree. We also have that challenging reading from St. Paul that talks about, proper respect and love between husband and wife, and in the respect that children are due to their parents. And, certainly it's one of those readings that challenges people. It's one of those readings that may be a little bit out of cultural context for us here today. And, at the heart of it, though, and I'm not saying, wholeheartedly, buy into wives be subordinate to their husbands. I can't even have that conversation in a 5-minute video, right? There's not enough time to even talk about, the ins and outs of all of that. But what I would say is, marriage in our day is, it's difficult. It's always been difficult. But we don't have as many great images of marriage and the humility that it takes to love one another truly, to live, to lay down your life for your spouse. We don't have quite the universal image of what a great marriage really is. And if we saw more of it, if we lived more of it, we might understand a little bit more deeply what St. Paul is really calling husbands and wives to in the way they relate to one another. So just note, again, can't deal with all the ins and outs, but I think if we up the ante on marriage, we might see it a little bit differently. And finally, with the gospel reading, we hear the finding of Jesus in the temple and the trust and love that Mary and Joseph have to have in one another, in the Lord, and the love that they have for their son, and yet the deference, the humility to recognize that he's God's son too, and they have to grow in understanding and living that out. But regardless, we have Mary, Joseph, and Jesus together, certainly the Holy Family that all of us, really need to look to for as example, whether we're a part of a nuclear family or, even if we're single people, the need to enter into that family in Nazareth and allow them to teach us and lead us in true ways of love, understanding, forgiveness, and certainly laying down our lives for one another. So again, too much to really cram into a short video, but maybe a preview of the scriptures to come, and maybe hopefully there's a thought there that you can go ahead and really enter more deeply into one of these areas during this week and during these celebrations, that the Lord might reveal to you His heart for you, His love for you, His desire for you, and His plans for you for a life of holiness and love.